there was a story in Buckeye Brotherhood, Floyd Benowitz wrote about the Michigan meeting, the meeting after the Michigan game last week, where Mitchell Melton kind of challenged the assertion that you have to come out winning the rushing battle to win this game. Did that conversation change your perspective on maybe you obviously want to win the rushing battle, want to run the ball well, want to defend the run, but maybe the necessity of winning the rushing battle and winning it early to win this game?
Yeah, we got to do what it takes to win the game, and everyone's got to do their job. That's the most important thing. Coaches and players. That's the bottom line. Now, what does that take? It takes a lot of things. You know, we can list all the things, but you probably heard me say those, what it takes to win these games over and over again, so I'm a broken record. But if we win the turnover battle, our chances increase of winning the game. If we win the X plays, you start going through all the different things, and there's a lot that goes into it. But at the end of the day, the number one goal is to win the game.
Over here, Dan Hope.
Obviously, the weather forecast could be cold. There's maybe a chance of some snow on Saturday. Just how are you guys prepared for that?
Yeah, we were out there today, and it's the good thing is we've had that weather the last couple of weeks, and so doesn't affect us at all. It's the same for both teams, and that's what you expect this time of year in Big Ten football. Actually expected a little bit more weather here in November. No, this is a group of guys that has played in this type of weather before. That's just a distraction. The focus has to be on doing our job.
Last year with the game that Jaden had and the opportunity that he has ahead of him, what have you seen from him that maybe makes you ready to put him on the field in a moment if you need him for a big kick?
Yeah, no, he's somebody that we've counted on this season, and we're going to count on in this game to do his job. It's what we've seen in practice, and he is like everybody else, gets better with time, and now this is it. He's worked up to this point this season, and we had a good day today with field goals, even with a 20-something mile-an-hour wind, so that was good, positive. Guys believe in him and trust that he's going to go do his part.
Right behind him, Stephen.
Yes, Brian, just for the sake of getting out there, one last update on
No, but we did have a good day. Everybody was out there, and so we'll see how the next 48 hours go.
Right, so that's an update.
Ryan, when you've talked about keeping the routine the same this week,
Yep.
tomorrow is Thanksgiving. There's no classes the whole day.
Right.
So you also have it's probably something with meals, families around. Like, what is the plan for tomorrow to keep that normal, knowing it's not normal?
Yeah, no, we want to. We used to practice really early in the morning, and then we kind of changed that, moved it back to keep it as normal as we can. But we also want to make sure that guys can get around their friends and family and enjoy Thanksgiving. But the work's the work. We got to get that done. These guys know that. They know what's important right now. These are the types of sacrifices you have to make when you're doing what we want to do. But at the same time, we will get out of here a couple hours early and make sure that everybody can have dinner with their family and friends.
A couple more, we'll go to Bill.
Last year, Rocky Sarveld was a role player. This year, he's held down the left tackle spot and done very well. How important has he been
Yeah.
to this team? Again, he was not even supposed to
Right.
be left tackle.
No, you're right. That's a guy that probably doesn't get enough mention. You're right. But when you think about how each guy impacts the game, it's like everyone is so critical. And especially in games like this where everyone's got to do their job at the highest level. But he's somebody that's grown into this role in a big way, and he's got a big challenge on Saturday against some really good defensive ends. He knows that, but he's a leader for us, like you said. He's a guy that has played in big games before, and somebody that some of the younger guys look to, for leadership, and he's brought it. He's not somebody that has a huge voice in terms of like being vocal, but when he speaks, people listen, and he's somebody that has the respect of the locker room.
Ryan, I know it's easy for us to watch the press box or on TV and watch a play and say, well, that guy looks open, why didn't the ball go there? But there have been a couple plays the last 2 weeks where Brandon once and Max another time, just like kind of wide open down the field, the ball didn't go to them. On those kinds of plays, what's the conversation like with Julian about why the ball isn't going there? And what do you think his report is throwing deep to guys who aren't Jeremiah?
Every play has a different story in terms of where your eyes go, where the progression goes. I know the two plays you're talking about. I won't get into all the details right now about exactly what happened on each of those, but yeah, there's typically a progression of where the read starts and then where it goes, and you usually have a progression in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, or sometimes you have a movement key that leads you to where you want to go or where you need to go, and each play has its own story. I will say on one of them, you probably got off the first read a little bit too fast, but there's also a timing element to it all, and I think that's when guys are running routes. They have to understand that spacing is critical against zone, but when you're running a route against man-to-man, you're running that route against a defensive line rush, and there's a timing of it all. Once you get to that third step and the hitch, the ball's probably coming down or going somewhere else. So, there's a little bit of that part of it too, in terms of when the ball needs to be thrown, in terms of the receivers being open when they need to be open. But then there's also times where you maybe move on to your movement key a little bit faster for a lot of different reasons. But no, I think everyone's involved with it.
And last one to Tim.
Yeah, Ryan, no, real quick before I ask my real question, y'all are flying up at back.
This one doesn't count. It's not your real question. It's a fake question.
Yeah.
I'll give you a fake answer.
What's that about?
What going flying up?
Flying up.
Well, I just think keep a routine. Keep through. I mean, if we keep saying that this week has to be like the other weeks in terms of our preparation, we know on the field it means a lot different. But then we have to keep the routine. And so all these little things that kind of add up over the week, and then you look at the week, you say, well, between Thanksgiving, between driving on the bus, between the band on Sunday, and then you start adding these things, and it's like, wait a minute, that wasn't a normal week. It's just so, and I know that the past 4 years hasn't worked. So you got to look at these things and try to figure out how to make them better and what you got to do to make sure that you're getting the job done. So this is just one little thing that we wanted to get done to make sure it's as routine as possible.
Road trip to road trip.
Yeah. That wasn't a real question.
Lincoln Keno's. What's your confidence factor in him now? He's played a lot more
Yeah.
over the last several weeks. And would you feel, I don't know, nervous at all to put him in that game on Saturday?
Well, he's somebody who's very competitive. You can see the different things he can do when he's on the field. He brings a little bit of a different element to the game, and we'll see if there's a place for him to get in the game and how that would fit in. But when we put anybody in the game, we have confidence they can do their job because they've earned that trust in practice, and he's certainly done that and had a good few weeks of practice. And when he's had an opportunity to get in the game, he's shown what he can do.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you got it. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.